Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. A salutation and much love to you, Akim, out there pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Osh from Great Millstone, Tampa. And just want to do a quick video on this article I came across on sciencealert.com. All right. And it says, American honey still contains radioactive fallout from nuclear tests decades ago. So, yet another reason why this devil has to go, man. This man has polluted the earth, all right? Not only with his philosophies and his, his rhetoric, his deception, but he has physically polluted the earth to a point where, a point of no return, man. That's why the scriptures say if there was, well, let me just get it. So this shit is ridiculous. You can't even get honey in America without it having some kind of radioactive shit. Radioactive honey. Like, damn, man. Where is it? Yeah, right. Matthew 24 and 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Right, so if it wasn't for the elect's sake that the Lord promised to bring salvation to, all right, everybody would, everything, every human, every animal would die on this planet, because this is the condition of the world. Chaos, deception, pollution. So let's go back to this article. It says that traces of radioactive fallout from nuclear tests in 1950s and 1960s can still be found in American honey, new research reveals. So they weren't testing them nukes for nothing, first of all, but the fact that there's still to this day, was that 50, 60, 70 years ago, God, 70 years ago, these niggas was testing nukes, and it now it's still being found in trace amounts in in honey. American honey produced in America. Like one of the elders said, I sent this out earlier, one of the elders said that you got to get your honey from New Zealand, to get some good honey, that Manuka honey. But if you go buy local honey, you say it's organic, farm rate, whatever. And even then, that shit here, it's ridiculous, man. There's no winning in this place, man. The devil has polluted the whole earth, man. You got space trash. He's even gone to the extent of polluting the space, okay, the waters, the Shemayim, and then he polluted the Mayim out here, man. The waters out on this earth, the oceans is filled with pollution, man. You got islands floating around of trash in the Pacific, who else, who probably on every damn ocean, So this mad scientist has to be stopped. All right, let's get what was it? Revelation 11. Yeah, Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So the Lord's going to reward the righteous, the saints, the prophets, the servants, and at the same time, he's going to destroy them which destroy the earth. Who's destroying the earth? Well, let's take a look. American honey still contains radioactive fallout from nuclear tests decades ago. Who was doing that? Who's doing that? It was no niggas shooting nukes into the skies. Bro, there was little, let me see if I can find it in here. These guys were shooting nukes into the atmosphere, bro, and letting them blow up. It says there was a period in which we tested hundreds of nuclear weapons in the atmosphere. Lead researcher Jim Case, an environmental geochemist at William and Mary University in Williamsburg, Virginia, explained last year in comments about the research. So they were just blowing this shit up in the air, man. So, and that's why there's that term, what's that, acid rain or something like that, nuclear rain, some shit like that, Okay, so let's read on a little bit more. It says, to demonstrate to his class how radioactive contaminants from mid-20th century nuclear testing still persisted in the environment today, Case asked his students to bring back locally sourced foods from wherever they spent the holidays. As expected, various samples of fruits, nuts, and other foods. So it's not even just honey, it's your food. Because guess what? What waters your food? All right? The rain, which comes from the atmosphere. Okay? That's where they were blowing these missiles up, these nukes up. You know, you can say, oh, well, they use irrigation systems. Well, where did they get that water from? You know? So it says, revealed very faint traces of cesium-137 when measured with gamma detector. But even Case wasn't prepared for what happened when he ran the same test with a jar of honey from a North Carolina farmer's market. So the honey apparently, because remember the honey comes from bees, which the bees use the pollination, you know, the pollen, so to say. So that pollen comes around, and it's mainly in the springtime, you know, but it's always around, of course. But what the pollen comes from plants, you know, or on to the plants, you know, they pollinate the plants. So what are them plants getting fed off of, and what are the, you know, the radioactive things coming from, man? You know, if you get what I'm saying, you know. It says, I measured it again because I thought something happened to the container or my detector was bonkers. I reproduced the measurement, and it was, again, 100 times hotter than any of these other foods. And honey is very good for you, man. The scripture talk about how the scriptures is honey, you know, comparing the scriptures to the honey, because honey is very good for you, for your body. Okay? And, of course, it would be fucking radioactive here in America. It says, to find out why honey registers such high levels of salachya, cesium-137, Case and his team, including one of his students, Paul Volante, began testing samples of locally made raw, pure, and unfiltered honey from markets and beekeepers located across the eastern U.S. Of the 122 samples tested, 68 showed detectable traces of the radioactive isotope, a legacy of atmospheric nuclear tests conducted by the U.S., the USSR, and other nations during the Cold War. I mean, shit. I'll put this in the description box. You keep reading, but I mean, the point has been made. It said who was testing them? Where to go? The U.S. and the USSR, Edomites. Okay, this is why this man got to be stopped, man. And they weren't testing the missiles for nothing, because ultimately those missiles are going to destroy America. All right, so rightfully so. You know, so and the reason this man is able to do this freely wherever he pleases, all right, is because why? The Lord gave him, the earth is in the possession of the wicked. Okay, was that Job? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right. So the point is that I wanted to get is that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And this is what the wicked do. They blow up missiles in the air. And then 70 years later, it's still affecting it. You know, you had the radiation chemical, the chemical plant or whatever. Not chemical, in Chernobyl, Russia. You know, to this day, still radioactive. You know, too radioactive to people who live there. Okay, look what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. People were being born with 3 arms, all kind of defects. There's blowing up missiles here in America, man. That's why you got a bunch of retards walking around. Bunch of radioactive babies. Radioactive food. And this is a science alert. I'm not making this up. This is what the scientists say. So who's to blame for this? Again, if it wasn't for the elect's sake, there would be no flesh to be saved. This guy's a madman, and he must be put down. Okay, and his reign is coming to an end. Because, you know, just as he was using these missiles, or testing these missiles, really it was testing them for this times that we're in now, because they never used nuclear missiles. They've used atomic. America used the only nation ever to use atomic missiles, or atomic warfare, so to say, atomic bombs, okay, used on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, Japan, the only country ever. And what, now U.S. in the 50s and 60s during the Cold War era, even into the 70s, Shit, not that shit to this day, really. You think they ain't been testing missiles? You out of your damn mind. But nonetheless, they were testing them because the Lord is gonna use those same weapons and even more advanced, ICBMs in these last days. Because this is how Esau is gonna go down, with his own weapons, which ultimately is the weapons of the Lord, the weapons of his indignation. All right, as Ezra 6:9 says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed." What's the end of Esau's world? World War III. The nukes flying through the skies, and Yahweh returning. All right, so here it is. This nigga's been testing this shit for 70 years. You don't think he gonna use them? Shit. Let me see if I can get any more points here. Okay, it says in recent years, I'm right here. It says in recent years, the ongoing disappearance of bees. Yeah, that's because of what? The fucking radiation's been killing them, man. And not only just from the nukes that was blown up in the atmosphere, but the radiation from everyday devices. This technology emits radiation in heavy doses. Okay, but that's besides the point of the nukes. It says, and insect pollinators has sparked, and other insect pollinators has sparked much concern in scientific circles. And while Cold War nuclear tests aren't often considered a primary driver of the problem, of course not. Why would they say that? The same people telling you what's the drivers of the problem is the same people causing the problem. Why the hell would they tell you that it's nuclear tests? Remember, Esau's the master of deception. That's one of his gifts. All right, his blessing, the sword. But the scriptures say in Revelation that he deceived the nations. Okay, it says we can't afford to ignore that they too could be a contributor. What you mean they too, man? Blowing up nukes in the skies. All that stays in the atmosphere, man. Them elements, that all that shit comes down. It's got to go somewhere. It just don't disappear. All right, given that pollinating insects provide vital services to the world's ecosystem and are essential in maintaining global food security, more research is needed to help us better understand how ionizing pollution threatens their health and survival. Well, damn it, the solution is to get rid of the man in power. Okay? When was this article written? April 21st. Man, this was written yesterday. Or today. What's today? It's today. So, the problem is Esau, Edom. This is the problem. You need to do more research. Nah, man. The research is going to lead. Well, if you do research, it's going to lead to the corporate, which is Esau, Edom. All right? It's not rocket science. Who's the nigga with the nukes? You ain't got fucking niggas in the hood with nukes. And if other nations have the nukes, it's because they have got them from Esau. They get the technology from Esau. Going back to the Manhattan Project, all the atomic research and ICBM technology come from Esau, man. Who was the first people to go into space? Esau. Sputnik, the Russians, USSR. And then, America. They had a space race, remember? So it's all, shenanigans. But this man has to be stopped, man. He's evil. He's cancerous to not only himself, but to the whole world and everything in it. Okay? So, the Lord's will is edifying. Shalom. Mawat lababal.